The memory that you will have with your dog will live with you forever.
Choose your suffering, or your suffering will choose you.
I know mine will say, I know there is a day you left me for long, but because now you are here, let's get to heaven together.
The memories that you'll make with your dog, they will last with you forever. Hello my wonderful people, how are you doing? How have you been? It's another exciting episode here at DOGS.DOUG Kenya, the best documentary channel for all dog lovers. And today I'm joined by these three handsome gentlemen here, and we are going to be talking about everything to do with dog, the challenges, the up and downs. Have there been any improvement in the industry since they started their walk into the dog world? So, and before we do that, I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Sababu kama kawaida in this channel, people introduce themselves, and because this is a dog channel, they are going to tell us, each one of them, what's their favorite breed of dog and why. And I'm going to start with our host of the day, Dan.
Thank you so much, Linda. My name is Dan Maina. I am the owner and kennel manager of DOGS Kennels, and it's a very big pleasure to hold you guys. My favorite breed is the German Shepherd. I don't think I can say why. I think it's because it was the dog we grew up seeing most of the time, so I think it just came as what we identified with at the particular time. So let me pass it on to my fellow Dan.
Thank you very much, Daniel, for being our host today. My name's Daniel Waigua from Redhill Kennels, and today I've been invited by my good friend, long-term friends, DOGS.DOUG Kenya and DOGS Kennels, and I hail from Redhill Kennels together with my brother. He's not been on the show, and so I'm going to say my favorite breed of dog is going to be the German Shepherd, but in particular, the Tabitha. I love Tabitha. Yeah, but in particular, this black one. This black one has something. I have a soft spot for the black one. So the black solid German Shepherd stands out for me. Why? Yes, my cup of tea.
Okay, and before he talks, I know most of you normally see me, but you don't see who's usually behind the camera. Babu, say hi and tell people you are the guy who is usually behind the camera.
Actually, Linda, I didn't want to tell people that I'm behind the camera. I know people are wondering who's behind the camera now that you said I was behind the camera. Hey guys, I'll tell you, this is not an easy one. Behind the camera today, there is no one. The cameras are just rolling, but it's good. Anyway, my name is David Babu. I'm the director of Natned Kennel, based in Kitengela. I'm also the DOP at DOGS.DOUG Kenya, and my favorite breed as usual is Rottweiler and Doberman. But I'm a lover of Doberman, and my favorite breed is the Rottweiler. Yes. And why the Rottweiler? It's a hunting dog. I'm telling you, and it's very, very, very loving.
Mm-hmm. Very, very loving. Semaku, it's called pimping out your favorite breed. Oh, steam, yes. So I want one of you to tell me, like, now Dan, since you are a host, I want to take this one to you. For how long have you been keeping dogs, and how has the journey been? Like, how did you start? What the challenges have you come across, and has there been any improvement?
We began in 2015, and the journey has been quite interesting. Because I think when we started, a few years after I began, we met up with Dan. And I think that was a really changing point. Because I learned a different kind of different business avenues in the dog industry that I never really thought about when I began. In terms of what I've learned, I think networking has been really key. I think most people really focus on the dogs and forget about the marketing aspect, the networking aspect, the business aspect, which I think really determines and implicates the quality of the dogs you have at the kennel. Because I figure out if you're not able to sell the dogs, because I think the whole purpose of the kennel, especially a breeding kennel, it's to produce and actually rehome these dogs, at a fee. Let's okay, when we say rehome, I think most people think it's not really giving away, because most of the time people call and say, you said you are rehoming them, can I come for one? And you're like, okay, it's at a fee, because you have to cover your expenses. So the biggest challenge I find, even for new kennels, even when I began, is trying to find the balance between the expenses and providing quality for services for the dogs and the clients that you're trying to cater for.
You've raised a very important question, finding a balance between the rehoming fee and the fee, like the expenses that you've taken to use to take care of that dog till to the point of rehoming. And I think this is one of the challenge that is there. So most probably, Babu, you're going to take this one. How can we find balance? And when we talk about rehoming fee, can you kindly touch on that one?
Okay, when we talk about rehoming fee, I really don't think there's a fee that is enough to take care of a breeder's needs. Because as you can see, bringing up a dog is not easy. Because if you look at the costs you incur during the process of breeding dogs, especially from when the time you are serving the dog, when the dog is on heat, getting a stud, until you produce a dog that is ready to be rehomed, I don't think anybody can compensate on that. So what I'd advise people is that instead of looking at the fee, just look at why you are breeding a dog. And you as somebody who want to get a dog, why are you getting a dog? Are you getting a dog because a neighbor got a dog? Are you getting a dog because you love the dogs? So if it's the love of the dog, I think if today Dan Waigwa tells me, Babu, I have a good Malinois, I look at the Malinois and I see it fit that I can rehome it. I don't think if Dan asks for a certain fee, if I truly value the dog, because before Dan tells me, makes the price that he wants to rehome the dog, he has already looked at so many things, from the vaccination fee, the feeding fee, the stud fee. You see? So I, as a person who want to get a dog, instead of trying to convince Dan to get to the lowest price, I think it's better, first of all, if I value the dog and I know why I'm getting the dog, I just look at it. If I love it, I get it, because there are so many challenges that I know very many people just look at the dog and say, wow, the dog is nice, but you don't know what the breeder or the person who has brought up that dog has incurred. So I just say there's no fee that you can, there's no figure. Actually, there's no figure, because depending on the dog, you might look at a small dog and think, this is just a small dog, so why should I pay too much for it? I don't think you value your dog on that, because every dog has its own values and it has its own ways of taking care of it. So for the figure, I don't think there is enough.
One thing I've noticed that is, like, ever since we started this channel, I've received several phone calls, people telling me, Linda, I bought a German Shepherd at this particular fee. When I listen to the fee, I know what the average is. It's way low what the breeders I know usually rehome their dogs are, and they're telling me, I've been with this dog for a week and now it's dying, it's sick, can I get vets? Dan, you've been rehoming dogs. Tell us, how does that work? What do people who are looking to give a home to a dog need to be on the lookout for?
Okay, the first thing I will say is, what are you offering out there as a breeder? Is it something passionate? Is it something that you're just doing for like a stock that you are like looking into supplying, producing and supplying? Or is it that you want to reciprocate, copy something that you've had, you've enjoyed, so that you can give someone an experience to go and so that's where we draw the line. It's the quality that we give our clients. So I have my dogs that I still have them. I have not rehomed them because someone came and said nipatie hii, and I can tell. You see, if I just pick up a chain of gold there and I give you, the aspect of value may not be seen in the chain. So if I tell you this thing came from the miller, ikatengenezwa, it was molded, so there's something that was put into it. So that's why you come to us and we tell you our solid black German Shepherds go for this particular price. And some people watafika, they'll reach to that point whereby we negotiate here. I'll pay in installments, then I'll tell you this is my vet number on the card. The puppy has been taken care of. This is the father, this is the mother. All those things are laid down. So for you going and getting a dog that is cheap, you don't know the father. You saw the photo, and then after 4 or 5 months, it was a black puppy. It turns, dogs are dogs. I love dogs. It turns out to be something not of the solid black German Shepherd. I'm sorry to say this, but we have so many people who are like, hey, manze, I got a dog, but it's turning out to be something else. Then you're like, hey, bro, how much do you buy the dog? You see, I was looking for a low budget dog. You know what you want, go for it. Don't compromise. And then again, let's see if you can have standards in Kenya. Breeding standards in Kenya. I have a friend of mine. He's a very straight guy. I like him. He's new in the industry, and he's not breeding dogs to sustain himself. I like that guy. He's in Sagana. I won't mention his name, but he knows himself. He's like, Dan, I have retired. I have my rough collies. I have my Caucasians imports. I have my Rottweiler over there. They can just stay there and feed, and I enjoy them. And he's like, when someone comes to buy a dog from me, because he gets the calls from the brokers, hey, quickly, I want to get the dog from you. He's like, okay, you just bring the buyer. I want to have a sitting with the buyer. So before the buyer goes and sees the dog at the kennel, they have a sit down. And he's like, yeah, what are you looking into getting? So he can actually figure out where his dog is going. Those standards are very important. If you can get to that point, which we can, by not being greedy or dependent. It's like we depend on the dogs to sustain us, or tunataka this is an international show, tunataka kuomoka. It's like you want to have a quick breakthrough with this dog. So personally for me, I have not bred like my female German Shepherd for close to 2 years. Unfortunately, my Malinois was bred accidentally. It happened, but I don't need my dogs to take care of me. My dogs need me to take care of them. So I go and work and I feed my dogs. I'm trying to like come into a budget where I can say I normally feed my dog like 50,000 a month, but that does not bother me. That's why I know I have that grace for dogs. If I was looking into like, hey, how much am I spending? How much will these dogs give me in return? So I'll have my dogs giving birth even 10 times a year, so that I break it. So you get to come to my place. I'm like, I have black German Shepherds. I'm giving them away for 10,000 shillings. I'm like, hey bro, 10,000 shillings for a black. How do you meet the standards? How did you lower the standards to the point where it's 10,000 shillings? Shortcuts. Hiyo ndio issue moja kubwa sana. So let's try and lay down standards. I won't breed to make money. I will breed to reciprocate something beautiful that I have, like I have beautiful black German Shepherds, and I won't breed them because even this year I won't breed them. Yes, I'll breed them when I'm ready and when I have a good client list to like. But I don't need my dogs to take care of me. That's the first attitude. I don't need my dogs to give me this particular amount of money. So if everyone in Kenya who is looking into getting into the industry, we look at it from the point whereby sitaki, I don't need this dog to take care of me. First of all, I want to like give a beautiful experience. Then let's set the standards. Who is getting your dog? How are you going to keep the dog? So if someone is going to come to my place that, hey, I want you to give me a dog for free. What happens when a dog needs to get a tablet of Bravecto, which is a certain amount of money? He's like, hey, I can't deworm the dog for that amount of money. So he's like, he'll have shortcuts. Eventually, you get to see the pictures of your dog, and you are sad and you're depressed. So let's just lay down standards. Personally, lay down standards. Have your own moral standing. Don't pursue pesa kwanza. Just love the creatures. At the end of the day, money comes and goes. That animal is emotional. Dogs are emotional creature. They feed your soul. You feel good about them. They feel good about you. So let's take care of them, give them good quality lives, and then let's not just breed them for like kujaza kila mahali.
And you've raised a very important issue here, because I've met several young men out there who've told me that they have left their office jobs so that they can be able to be like with the dogs full time? Like now, Dan mentioned that the business aspect of the dog. What advice, Dan, do you have for such young men there? Yes, they feel like, I have a passion for dogs. I can do this. I can be a trainer, but I think I can do this full time. What advice would you have for such a person out there?
Thank you so much, Linda. Okay, I think the best advice will be every business is profitable. I think most people get into the dog business industry thinking it's a quick cash making kind of scenario, where I'll get a litter of 8 puppies, sell them at around 70, 30, depending on whether I'm unregistered or registered, and make my big bucks. But I will advise people to sit down, just as you will do with any other business. Have a plan. Have your budgets. Have your income strategies. Have your markups, okay? Because I think, okay, let me talk from experience. Oh? There are some times where the business is quite low, and you find, let's take last year when we had the election period, and people weren't really spending a lot of money, especially on things. I consider dogs as luxury items, because if you don't have the time, don't have the finances, it's not really a necessity in a household kind of matter. So we'll say, have a plan, have your business plan, know your sources of food, understand how the market reacts. Okay, I don't really like our market seems to go on crazes, where you find, like right now, the long coats are really the in things. You find the long coats really have a way better market than the short coats. There are breeds that actually do way much better than other particular breeds. So you find, understand what you're doing. You may love a dog, but you don't really have to turn it into a business. So if you're leaving your office job, have a plan. Talk to other breeders, understand the challenges they are facing, get solution to those challenges, even before you start up. Because the same solutions they are handling is the same solution you're going to handle. And if you don't have a way of handling them, because every environment offers different kinds of solutions. Dan may, at Redhill, may have a different solution to me at my own kennel, because we're in a different location. The expenses he meets are way different than mine. So you can't really copy-paste a formula to understand that if it's working for Dan, it must work for me. So have a plan. Let me stick to have a plan, have a budget, really have a budget, talk to other people in the industry. Understand what they are doing to survive in the current, let's say, economic and environment that they are in. Also understand the scopes, understand your laws, because I don't think we focus so much on the counties and national laws that govern keeping of animals. So understand, you may go to Nairobi. If you're in Nairobi, you need licenses. Have you accounted for that? You're in an estate. Does the estate allow having dogs? These are the things most people don't really consider. So do your homework. That's the best advice I can give. If you want to get into any business, not necessarily even the dog business, do your homework and do it well. Take your time, visit few people, have a plan.
Now that is good, and I think I would fail if I would end this session without us talking about our local breeds and also the challenges that we have with our local breeds, with stray dogs, tunazita mbwa koko. So, and sisi wote hapa hivi nikiangalia we are from these villages. So German Shepherds, we used to look at them and say, wow. So, but now we are in that craze where everybody wants something like, I want a German Shepherd, I want something exotic that nobody have seen it before. You know, when you're seen with our local dogs, it's like, when in shamba. So let's talk about our local breeds. How are people taking care of their local breeds? Dan?
Okay.
I got you.
I see them loitering around, yeah, that's for sure. Around the butcheries and around the dumping areas. But I know people who take care of their local breeds. Yeah, so it's personally, you know, there's a control that needs to be done. So they are all over the place. They mate anyhowly. but they do have owners, I can say that, and they do take care of them, because I can see some beautiful local breeds, beautiful, healthy, well taken care of, groomed. So the sad reality is that you might find one that has given birth in the bushes. There are puppies that are crying, so maybe we need to like peer control here. Guys need to like learn how to like spay, do the injections if need be to like stop them from giving birth. But they are very, very useful here. I think 80 to 90% mostly of Kenyans wanachungwa na dogs za kienyeji, the Maasai dogs. And I actually had this in Nanyuki, the foreigners who have settled there. They are incorporating local dogs because they are harsh, they are hardy. The harsh environment doesn't mess them up. So there will always be room for local breeds in Kenya. And I hope we can get to the point whereby I can get a client. I do get clients who talk to me. I have a client I'm supposed to meet up in Thika. He's got local breeds, he needs me to train them. And then I'm saying this, all dogs are trainable. So it can be kienyeji. If it is your dog, the first thing I told you in today's show is that you love your dog. If it is kienyeji, it will give you the same emotional satisfaction as I get from my dogs. So take it for training, call the vet, have the normal vaccinations, jabs done, and yeah, they are here with us to stay. We just need to like acknowledge them and take care of them.
I need Babu to chip on this one, because his first dog, he bought his first dog when he was a boy. It was a local dog. What do you think we need to do to control the population of the stray dogs we have?
Okay, I'll be very honest that I got my first dog at an early age, and I remember it was back when I was in primary school. I saw a person with local dogs. In our homestead, we didn't have any dog. So the first dog that I saw, until I think after high school, apart from the ones we used to see in televisions, the police dogs, the ones we call police dogs, the German Shepherd, it was a local dog. And I used to see people with local dogs. So when I saw a person with a local dog, I really cried, asking my mom to buy for me a dog. And I remember back then, I bought a dog at 600 shillings. I can't forget. And 600 was a lot by then, and it was just a local dog. And I believe if they are well taken care of, I think they are very good dogs. And as Dan has said, I think we have more Kenyan Shepherds and the local dogs and the so-called Maasai dogs. We have many, more than even the dogs that people nowadays, everybody is craving to have. It's the best. It's a very good dog because it is an all-weather dog. If you go to Kakamega, you will find a local dog. You go to the deepest parts of Nanyuki, Nyeri, Narok, anyway, even here where we are, if you get out there, you'll get a local dog loitering, which sometimes makes me sad when I see somebody who has very nice local dogs, and instead of taking care of them, they just let them out, they let them loiter. They don't even know that, though I believe it's lack of knowledge, they don't even know that the dogs needs vaccinations, because if you let them out, those dogs are going to interact with other dogs. They might bring diseases to your home, infections, and the people I've seen taking good care of these dogs, especially the ones that are rescued at KSPCA, those dogs are beautiful. I'll tell you, if I was to keep, if I was to go back to where I was with the knowledge I have now for local dogs, in some areas, I believe these are the best dogs.
I think Babu and Dan have already expounded on that. I think what I can add on is I think we need more information. I think guys really need to get informed about how to take care of dogs. Because I think I will say, if I consider, let's say, my parents, let's take it from my experience. My parents really thought that a dog is just something that is there, you give the scripts, the leftovers, and it will survive. That was the best taken care of dog in the area, and it was feeding on scripts. Like, they were doing more than enough according to them. Yet once you get in and you learn more about them, you come to find out that's even barely the bare minimum. You're not vaccinating, you're not deworming, you're not exercising these dogs. So I think we really need to get more information, and people really need to get more sensitized on what they need to do to take care of their dogs. Because I think with time, especially with the local dogs, I think over time the number really shoots up, especially during mating season, and they start getting litters, and that's when you see dogs getting knocked down by the road. There are so many sad kind of scenes, and I think some years back, and we had the National Council having to poison them just to reduce the numbers, which was really, really sad. So I think we need to give people more information. I think the channel is also doing that. So I need to applaud Linda and Babu for a really nice job.
Now, Dan, you've led us to our next discussion. The mating seasons, the pregnancies, the accidental litters. And it's not even once or twice that I've had cases of KSPCA saying, oh, we've collected a box of neglected we've collected a litter of neglected puppies. And this is not just about local dogs, it's even with the pedigree dogs, the exotic breeds. Now, this one is a question to the breeders. What are we doing when we are rehoming a puppy to ensure that we do not have those accidental litters? Do we inquire from the people we are giving our puppies from whether it is for breeding or whether it's just a pet that they need?
Okay, Linda, let me take that first. I'm going to repeat. We've not yet gotten there. I know there are breeders in Kenya who import dogs and then they close. When one says that dog has been closed for breeding, is that I can buy an expensive dog, and the guy who owns the dog, he closes it. So if I was to breed those dogs, I don't get the KSPC Kenya, the East African Kennel Club registration. It's just a way of trying to like set up a control, which is important, but hatujafika, we've not yet gotten there, whereby I sell you a dog and I tell you don't breed that dog. So it's like we've not. But in the US, it's there. You have to like get breeding rights. Yes, it's legally. It is controlled legally. It is written somewhere in their laws, and you just can't do anything with someone's dog. And you can't buy a dog in the US. Let me just use the example of the US because uko nimesikia, and resell and sell that dog off. The brokerage fine is there. I can't buy a dog from Dan and then sell it as mine as the other Dan. So I have to have stayed with the dog for 8 months, taking care of the dog. Then it becomes mine. Then I can, So it's not there's control there, but sisi bado hatujafika. The one control that we have is information. So someone comes to my place, is like, I want 2 German Shepherds, I want a girl and a boy. I normally tell my clients, this boy is not related to this one, and that is as much as I can do. So I can tell them when they get into heat, because most of these clients, they're not ignorant, they don't know when the dog is on heat. They just like, I found them tied when they've locked. I found them tied. You see that Spitz was tied with that German Shepherd. I'm like, I'm pole sana. But you see, you're like, observe, count the days. At 7 months, the first heat comes, and the dog is small. It can be bred by other small dogs. So the one thing that we have control over is, I will tell you this German Shepherd, it is not related to this German Shepherd. So when the puppies are born, we won't have inbreeds. At that level is where we are. We can control that much. But the dog not mating from our place to the other guy's place, it's very, very difficult to control.
I think to add on that is for responsible breeders, I think it's very good that we be educating. If you are rehoming, for instance, if you are rehoming a puppy to somebody, if you are not rehoming a puppy to a fellow breeder, if you are rehoming a puppy to somebody who wants to have a dog as a pet, I think it's very good you ask, first of all, you get the information why they want a dog. Because I've found cases where somebody wants to get a dog from me, and when they ask for a dog, they tell me, Babu, I need a male and a female. The next question I ask them, why do you want a male and a female? If they tell me that they just want a male and a female for as a pet, I normally tell them, if you are not ready to get puppies, kindly do not get a male and a female. Because if you get a male and a female, and to make the matter worse, you get a male and a female from the same litter. So what happens when these dogs become of age and they start mating? You'll get puppies and you'll be doing inbreeding, which inbreeding is not bad, but inbreeding, it's good when done controlled by people who understand why they are doing it. Maybe people who want to improve on their genes, and maybe there's a trait, and when they are well looked at and you are certified that the inbreeding you are going to do will improve on the genes and not to make the dogs become weak or anything. So I'd advise us breeders, if as a responsible breeder, as a responsible dog lover, as a responsible dog owner, if somebody comes to you and tells you, I need 2 dogs, if it's for security, I'd recommend that if they're not going to neuter their dogs, kindly let's stop selling, like, just because somebody has come with good money and you think now I can sell for them 2 litter mates of different sex. I don't think it's right, because when they go, the dogs will inbreed, and somebody then calls you and tells me, I find my dogs tied. I don't know what's happening. Then you tell them, be ready for the puppies. And what happens when the puppies are born? You find somebody don't even take care of the puppies, and all of them dies, which is very sad. So I'd advise other breeders, as responsible owners, ask the people who are buying dogs from you, or people who you are gifting a dog to, do you have other dogs? Do you have if somebody, like for instance, as Dan said, like you find that Japanese Spitz tied with a German Shepherd, honestly, you are doing injustice to the Spitz. So it's better when you advise, you ask somebody, do you have the dog you have at home, which gender is it? Is it a female or a male? If it's a male, ask them, if you are not going to breed, then get another male. I know people fear males because they say they'll fight for dominance, but just know where you are getting a dog. Yes.
Now, when it comes to responsible dog owners, Dan, as a dog trainer, are people improving? Are people training their dogs, or are people still saying, zile za askari nsuzu trainiwa?
Yeah, so guys are inquiring from me. I'm a trainer. Professionally, I'm a trainer. Before breeding, I'm a trainer. I'm supposed actually to be in a session, but this one is also good. This session is awesome. Yeah, there are people who are inquiring and about training. There is a fee to it, so we don't get so many of our local dog owners or other pure breed owners who are willing to cough the amount to take their dogs to school. But I would highly recommend they consider that it's good to have your dog trained, educated, and as yourself, you become educated on how to handle your dog. So you remove the ignorance part of controlling the dog with a slipper or a broom, screaming at the dog, shouting at the dog ate this, the dog pooped there. So the guys are coming to us for help, which is a good thing, because on our end it's business, but then on their end it's solution. They get a solution. So guys are coming to us after they bought the dog, and after they've gotten the problems, that's when they're coming to us. So if people can consider that now I have a kid here, he's supposed to go to school, kindergarten and all that, so you also incorporate the dog. Just mpangie umbwa afunzwe a few lessons yourself, the dog, you'll get to live a peaceful and a beautiful life. It's very, very important. Get your dog trained, or get information on how to train your dog, so that you don't handle your dog in ignorance. Because if you mess the dog as a puppy, it grows up with psychological problems, it's got social problems, it's got issues regarding attacking other dogs. I don't know, it beat an old person. So you weird stuffs are happening out there. It's more because of keeping a good breed. You feed it, it's big, and the only control you have over it is maybe saying, go to the cage. So that's the only thing, or being chained or being tied. So we need like consider that fact of getting your dogs trained and also getting yourself trained and understanding the knowledge when it comes to like taking care of your dog personally. Yeah.
Just to add on to what Dan said, I think consistency really matters when it comes to training. Even if you're not a trainer, you need to be consistent in how you operate and deal with your dogs on a daily basis. I think dogs really thrive in a kind of a schedule kind of system. So have a schedule for your kennel, have a schedule with how you interact with your dogs, and you'll set it up for success. Okay.
Yes, and dogs want to play.
Play with your dog. Play with your dogs. Don't forget. Go swimming.
Go camping.
Buy toys for your dogs. Does Tabitha have special toys?
She has a special toy rock, a rock that she carries around. I don't know the name. She'll always pick it up and take it and put it there and just.
Why are you telling us to buy toys?
She chose the rock over the toys. They are there, but her and Mara, my Malinois, they just like picking up this one rock or two, yeah, and just walking around with them. And it's fascinating, but yeah, that's their game, that's their thing.
I had Babu tell us a story. He has this dog whose toys was tomato fruit. You see the tomato tree?
Tree tomato.
Yeah, tree tomato.
Yeah.
So so it picks, drops them, picks, drops them. The tree grew taller. Now the dog would get some water tanks.
Yes.
Roll the water tank.
Put it near the tree tomato, and now it's able to reach to the tree tomatoes that are on top, a bit higher. Yeah.
As a dog trainer, what do you say about that?
That was a brilliant dog.
and that's why I said I love Rottweilers, because I don't know whether, apart from Malinois, I don't know whether there is any other dog that can do that trick.
Inunuliwa kikombe ya supu. Yeah. That shows the dog's brain is calculative. Inapiga hesabu 1 + 1 2 + 2. If I can actually, obstacle training is something that is a fun sport that we can introduce here. So people who love dogs have their own 2 steps. I don't know. Remember the show we did at Michuki's place, an episode where you've seen his setup, his obstacle. The dogs enjoy jumping off them, going off them. So that Rottweiler, and there are Rottweilers, by the way. Yes, those were Rottweilers. So it has figured out now this tree is getting taller, and I'm still there. So, but if it's me and the tank, we are there. So I just pushed it. So fascinating. So I have my dog that would push the window, my kitchen window. She'd, open it, go outside. Then she'd come back with the front window. I knew she was outside because you could see the paw prints, but I didn't know how she was doing it until my neighbor told me. I saw her on that window, that space. It Malinois. She just went through, and we were scared and fascinated at the same time. So she jumps out, she goes, does her business. She doesn't want to go to the toilet in the house. So she goes back, loiters a kidogo in the compound, plays. Then she'd go back into the house because she had puppies then. Very, very interesting. I wasn't angry when I found paw prints on the kitchen counter. I was like, okay, she's smart enough. Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, so they won't play. Let them do their thing. And if you allow dogs to do their thing, there's a way they just keep you interested. You're like, no, because you can do this. What else have you been doing? So you can even end up fixing CCTVs, and you're like just watching, and you're just enjoying your dogs. Probably even watching TV, right? I think that she's watching TV right now in the house. Now that I'm not there, maybe I share TV.
No. Kabla, before we take care of a dog to reach to that point where you can observe its brilliance, like I want you to take us through the regime of now, from getting a dog as a breeder and saying, this is the beach I've chosen, take us through the process. How do you take care of that dog until it reaches a point where now it's breeding time, and now I'm taking care of this litter, and now I'm rehoming this dog? What is the regime?
Okay, I can't really say there's a regime as much, because it takes quite a while between getting a dog, as let's assume you're taking it as a puppy, to around breeding age, which is around, let's say, okay, I use 18 months for me specifically. I don't know, but I know from 16 months, I think that's okay. So that's quite a while. So I can't really say there's quite a regime. But what I do, okay, I think the best thing is, okay, what we do is we observe. We look at what the qualities the dog is showing, because that helps us choose the stud that we're going to use for that female. The rest is just basics. Just make sure you're deworming regular. Vaccinations, which is, I think, okay, at 3 months, I assume it has gotten, it's now yearly from then on. Okay, just, but I want to go back a bit, because now I feel like my dogs are dumb, because I think Babu has work as a farmhand, and I think Dan's dog has chances with burglaries, and mine are chasing flies. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's true. I think I need to have a meeting with my dogs, like, see what other guys are doing. Like,
I don't know if I say this right. Some dogs are a reflection of their own.
That's really not good. That's really not good.
See, for me, I want to challenge my dog. Me, I want to like go to the other side. We cross the river with my dog. I want to take a stick and I throw it as far as I can, and I want them to get that particular stick. So there's a matter of engagement. You see for yourself, maybe you're always just reading your books. So your dogs are always in meditation. They're always silently sitting next to you. So some dogs are a reflection of how active are you as a dog owner. Yeah, because these things are built up. I think Babu can say that. These things are built up. The dog is built up.
I think I can support what Danoigo is saying from Redhill, because not necessarily. You see, I can say a dog from the age of being a puppy to adulthood, I think there's somehow an element of a reflection of the owner. Why am I saying that? Yes, because if, for instance, if you are a silent person, or a quiet person, and you spend most of your time in-house reading, for instance, and I didn't say reading is bad, and you lock your dogs in the kennel, and the only thing that the dog sees are the flies, they'll keep themselves busy.
No, I think what you're missing, is my dog showing good hunting skills. This is a very small prey. Do you know how intricate you have to be to catch a fly? So I can say my dog puts details in work. Okay, that is the best perception I can give. Because I think you're putting... I'm not... Everyone is saying I read a lot of books. Which is... I don't know where you get that from. The books are for sure. What you see here are for sure. For sure. Those books, they are for sure. Okay? I don't know. Because I found it, actually, I don't know if it's a genetic thing. Because I think even the litters from that line really have that tendency, really get excited around chasing flies. I really didn't understand it. But I say they're really good hunting dogs. As Babu said, he needs hunting dogs. No. It's more of a pest control. This is pest control. Yeah. No, this is pest control.
I think just to be fair on Dan, I think, as you said, every dog has its own traits. And they are all, I think the temperaments of the dogs matters and differs from one dog to another. Because I have dogs that are quiet. I have only one quiet dog that it always likes keeping to itself. Just one among so many. I got it at around 11 months, and that dog is silent. Not because I didn't make it, not because it didn't adapt to my kennel, but somehow I've tried even to walk the dog, but every dog has its own temperament, because most of the dogs I have are very active, and each dog has its own talent. And I believe if you can just put your dog out and maybe throw a ball, maybe they have good fetching skills, and maybe, as you said, they have good hunting skills. So try taking them to Nanyuki for hunting.
No, it's all right. Now we can go back to our point was not expounded on because Dan had to reconsider his regime. You felt attacked. So now you've taken care of the dog from puppyhood to about 18 months. Now from there, what do you do?
Okay, from 18 months, I think when it comes to breeding, I think one of the most crucial parts is identifying the mate. Yeah, you need to supplement and complement the qualities that a dog has. Understand what you need to correct according to the standard. Also identify, because there are females that are really good, but really don't make really good mothers in terms of how they take care of their litters. So you really need to consider before breeding any breed of dog. You need to understand why you're doing it. What is your plan in rehoming those dogs? How will you handle the expenses that comes with having a litter? Because it's not said. I think all of us can give an experience where you have a litter, they will not go at the same time. It goes periodically. Yeah. So how will you take care? How will you cover the cost of feeding? How will you cover the cost of vaccinations? How will you cover the cost of deworming? Also socializing. I see most breeders really don't socialize their dogs while they're young. And I also used to have really problems, because you find when the client is coming to buy the dog is really good with you, but really shy with other people. And I came to realize, actually from Dan and other trainers, that we really miss the step of socializing. You may feed the best, you may clean the best, you may give the best, but if you don't socialize, that dog really struggles when it goes to new environments, even as they grow up. Because I believe at the puppy age, this is the best time to mold them. If you miss that step, I think you will have problems go on and go on and go on. So I will really emphasize, because I think most of us, if you're a breeder and you've been here for long, there are set standards that you keep. There are kennel standards. They're obvious, the general standards that we all keep. But I think we need to socialize. I think after, what else can I add on to that? Let Dan help me. I think I think our kennel standards really compare. So I think he understands, because we have been really helping each other over the few years as we. So I think Dan can help me add on what I've missed.
You've not missed much. In terms of mating, that's good. Prepare early. Mapema ndio best. Then there's the aspect of vaccination. Even after the puppy's been bought, if you're going to do breeding, there are those scheduled jabs like the distemper and the rabies. You have to make sure they are prepared well. And what else can I add to that? I'm more of an active guy, so I say have your dog exercise. Dog obesity is there, or dogs that are not active have issues of giving birth. Yeah, if you have a lazy dog, walk your dog. If your dog is not eating, find out why it's not eating. Yeah, so just be aware of how your dog is normally, so you can tell when it's abnormal.
What levels are right for exercise in a puppy?
Yes. Yeah, it's been confirmed that the puppy bones are not strong enough, and I do give those instructions or those aided information to my clients. Yeah, so when I'm getting the puppies to go for walks, I'm considering 6 months. Is it enough for the dog to walk for a kilometer? Yeah, because the joints are still weak. We don't want to cause inflammation. We don't cause some tissue injury, because when the dog is hurt when it's a puppy, chances are that it's probably going to have nerve damages. So you'll have a dog having a weird walking style because it's sprained its leg when doing aggressive exercise. Like my Malinois puppies hurt themselves. The first litter, I had 2 dogs who broken their legs. I don't know what. So you have to like minimize excessive exercise for puppies. Let them play together. Don't be too aggressive. Let them play together. Take the mom for long walks if you're going for camping or hiking, and let the puppies get to something close to like 6 months so you can challenge them. And then the immune is strong enough for them to like fight off infections, exposure to bacteria, viruses, and all that. So the puppies need to be taken care of. They have to still remain in that safe zone. Yes, it's like a kid. You don't push a 2-year-old that much. You play wrestling, but you won't like push them too hard. Yeah.
When you have a really active puppies, I think for Malinois, I think you really have really energetic puppies. Yeah. So how do you handle a puppy that really wants to work, really has really high energies, and how do you moderate the levels of exercise? Because I think for me, that's what I challenge with. So that's why I'm really inquisitive. Yeah.
Me, I can't beat my Malinois energy. I have scars, I have bites. This is a scratch. You can zoom this in. I have bites, I have ripped trousers. Yeah, so they have their very own energy. The thing here is, how much are you not supposed to push your dog? Yeah, I see for puppies, there's the aspects of they bite, they want to like grasp and hang, so they have weak necks. So like they can be rough. Be gentle, but let them play, let them do whatever they're doing. But just consider that their joints are not that strong enough. Their necks are not that firm. Yeah, so you are like careful. Yes, they can do that all day long. They can hang on things all day long. But then again, there's the aspect of it being safe for them because they hurt. I had puppies that broke their legs. Yeah, so like by them, they jumped. They just did something weird and they broke their legs. Yeah.
I think also to add on that, as a responsible person, it's always good to look at the temperament of your dogs from puppyhood, because I believe, you see, like trainers, so many trainers will tell you that even for an adult dog, you don't over-exercise it, because if you over-exercise it, you'll mess with their bone structure and everything. Because I remember there's a dog that I used to train. That dog had a very high ball drive. So the dog would run all the time, run. Every time you throw something, want to go to get it. But at a certain age, when it came to around 6 months, I realized that it was limping. So I asked my vet, I don't know what's happening. I don't know whether the dog is sick. So my vet actually told me, I've been seeing that you've been exercising this dog too much. And he told me it will mess with its hips. And actually, from even the professional trainers, one of the trainers told me, even during training, you know, sometimes you'll get somebody, even a client, calling you, telling you, I need my dog trained. And they are wondering, why are you training these dogs for only, I've paid so much, and you are training the dog maybe for 30 minutes. But people need to understand that if you overtrain them, it's just like a human being. You can't train for the whole day. You have to have rests. If maybe you have a program that you need your dog to catch up with a certain type of training, instead of overtraining it, break the training sessions. Maybe in the morning you can do obedience. In the afternoon you can do something else. If it's not hot, also don't expose your dogs to too much heat. Then later in the evening, you can do the aggression or whatever the training you are doing, instead of doing a long session and mess up with the bone structure of your dogs.
If you had a sit down with the owner, there's a lot of taking care of the dog that has been put into place. Yeah. The diet and veterinary clinical checkups are important. I've seen dogs that are old. Jack Russell pet dogs, they have scheduled veterinary visits. Mid-year, beginning of year, and probably when the year is ending, and in between. So the dog is so it doesn't have to like get kidney failure, so it doesn't get like severe disease. It's blind. So is it getting red eye or whatever, foggy eyes? He quickly takes the dog to the veterinary. So it's checked, so the dog doesn't end up being blind, because there are all dogs that are blind. Yeah, so that all it all comes down to like how you take care of it. You have to be sensitive. So you can tell my dog is coughing. So this is kennel cough. So you sort it early. So that dog has a high fighting chance from getting well from disease and all that.
To add on that, I remember there is this breeder we visited, a very reputable breeder, and she told us one of her dogs failed the hip score. And when she analyzed the situation, it was not that it was hereditary, but when she rewinded and checked the activities of the dogs, she said that her puppy used to be very, very active. So she would exercise it, she would take it out. Do you remember that? Yes. So she would take it out for walks, because you see this puppy is active, so she's even having fun. You get excited training this dog because but you see what at the end of the day what happened? It failed the hip score, and according to the standards, when your dog fails the hip scores, then you're not supposed to breed that dog. So I think this is an area where people really need to be careful with. Yeah. Now, when it comes to that, I think that one will lead us to challenges, because that's a challenge that you've been facing, right? So let's talk generally, what are the challenges that we've been facing since we started dealing with dogs?
Let me start from maybe what so many people don't call a challenge. I had this challenge of having 2 aggressive dogs. I remember I had an American pit bull, and I call it a challenge because that dog used to be the best dog I had in my kennel. But little did I know that it was just a matter of time that it will also test my patience and test my ability to handle it. So there's this time I brought a Rottweiler. I used to have, by then I used to have German Shepherd and just that pit bull. So when I brought a Rottweiler, it was a male pit bull. So I brought a Rottweiler male. They interacted so well, I socialized it well. They grew up together until when one of my dog was on hit. And that's when I realized I had a beast in the house. Actually, I remember I got into the house. By the time I entered the house, the dog was already on the neck of the Rottweiler. And it's so unfortunate that it killed the Rottweiler. Within some minutes, the dog was done because it just went on the neck and killed the Rottweiler. That, I'd say it's a challenge, because sometimes when you have so many males, during the mating time or the season that the dogs are on that season, the mating season, the males really challenge each other. Another challenge I'd say is the common one with so many people, even the dog lovers, the feeding. I know people maybe back there in the villages will ask, how is it a challenge? For us, the dogs just go get food for themselves. There's a time I used to feed my dogs only on meat. You remember Linda from the show? I used to, but nowadays it has become a challenge. Nowadays I mix a lot, which is a really, really, really big challenge. Actually, I had to reduce the dogs I had. I remember from the show we did, I told you I used to keep even 30 dogs. Not for rehoming. I get puppies, I keep them. I love them because personally I don't keep dogs because of business. First of all, I keep dogs because of the love I have. Man's best friend. Dan, help us with the other challenges.
Challenge. I think I'm so used to the challenge, they are normal right now. What challenge do I have right now? Normal. Someone comes and like, your dog is doing that. I'm like, yeah, it's normal. Yeah, it's a feeding. I said the feeding. I have to get like 30 kilograms of meat every day. I have a number of dogs. I wouldn't say the number of dogs I have. Yeah. I have to like part with like 30 kilograms. 10 kilograms is for the young puppies. The other 20 is for the adults. I have to get the rice. So feeding has been a challenge, and we've had shortage of dog food, especially the dog rice. The dog rice is not some unique rice. It's broken rice. We say, is it recycled rice, the one that's sifted from the millers? We used to get a lot of it, but with the drought and the high cost of living, it's disappearing. We don't know where it's going. We don't know who's eating our dog rice. But we're not getting the dog rice we used to get here. Yeah, but so you see, if it's rice at the end of the day. The fact that a broken biscuit is still a broken biscuit. It's biscuits. Yeah, so they will still go for it. Yeah, so my main challenge right now is the rice. I place an order, I have to wait. A month goes by, I have to improvise. I go get some mixture of maybe bread, cake, some multivitamins, calcium mixed together. It's a bag of flour. Not recommended. I won't say the brand. It's not recommended because you're not sure of how well stored the omena that's been put there is. So rice has always been that safe. So for anyone who loves their dog, they have that fear. Will this food kill my dog? Very, very, very sad reality is that you can have nightmares that, hey, your dogs are diarrhea and you're like, did I poison my dogs? That is my main challenge. And I'd say the other one is vaccination schedules. Hey, I forget that one. So sometimes I will vaccinate my dogs twice for rabies, which is okay, which is important. Yeah, so the vaccination has always been key important. So if I can't recall, I'm not good in keeping schedule like my brother here. I might do it twice a year. Yeah, so those are my challenges. And the final one is enough time. I don't think I have enough time with my dogs. I think I am working so much, so hard. So they come home, they're staring at me. They're happy, they're jumping on me. They're like, hey, where were you? So I'm like, maybe I should have some off days for them. Yeah, but I try and give them as much time as possible. Yeah, but yeah, it's fun. And it's important that even our families interact with our dogs. Very important for our family members to interact with our dogs.
First, I think Dan is failing us. Dan are known to be schedulers. So it is really disappointing when you say such things. You're failing us as Dans. No. I'll buy you a diary after we are done with this. I think you need it, yeah. Okay, I think similar to Dan, time is one of the biggest challenges, I think, for me. I would like to spend a bit more time with them because I think for you to really understand, dogs really teach you a lot. It's a never-ending learning experience. So you find you miss a lot. When you're not there, things really happen. Your dog actually changes, grows, temperaments differ, the right temperament really starts to show. So I think time has become a really big challenge. I think knowledge. I think in terms of the knowledge available to us, especially, because I'm really passionate about feeding. I really love doing my research in feeding in terms of if I'm giving this kind of meal, what kind of benefit does it have to the dog? Yeah, how does the dog respond to it? So I like really, I won't like to use testing. So it sounds a bit more labbish, but I would like to say I really love experimenting different kind of foods with my dogs and seeing how they respond to it. So lack of knowledge, I will really put it up there because if you, let's say, I will pose a question to, let's say, Dan now. What do you think is the appropriate protein content a dog should take in terms of percentage of their meal? Yeah.
If possible, 100%. I give our producer here says his dogs were on meat, which I'd say it's the best diet naturally, because wolves feed on meat and we know how big they get and how strong they get. But they need balance. So me, I say as much protein as possible.
Dogs aren't really, let me not say fully on carnivorous, but really dogs don't really thrive on an all meat diet.
Now, dogs, if I throw this bun down there, doggy itapita nayo. True or false?
Okay, true.
If you cook ugali or your plate of githeri and leave it outside there and there's a dog passing by, what happens? No, it will come. No. Give githeri to a very hungry Motina, you'll see what it does. No, me, I say it. You've seen dogs eating githeri, yes. So I did not say I'm feeding my animal will even eat. No, a starving lion will not even smell githeri. But this is what I'm saying. A hungry dog, whatever it is that will leave it outside there, most probably it will eat it and then kill it later, not knowing it was so supposed to eat that one. And I think to cut this short, this is what dogs have. There are those things that are poisonous to dogs, but dogs with a human diet, dogs live through a human diet, and that's why portion ya mob ya dogi yenye utapika ni nini mob, ni nyama ama ni mchele? You guys, you're dealing with breeders levels, but you know, like rice, to be truthfully, it is rice that is plenty.
Rice,
yes,
and then a river of soup.
But I think for this one, what I can say, for the sake of our viewers, I think the next guest we should invite, and we'll have such a sit down, should be Hussein. You remember Hussein? Yes, and then Hussein can break down this conversation.
Okay, let me help you, Linda. Even if dogs are not carnivorous, from experience, I've realized that when I have small puppies, and this is something that I learned in the process. When I had puppies and I used to feed them more on carbohydrates, they were delaying on their growth process. My vet advised me to feed my puppies more on proteins, and I think even from the dog food manufacturers, if you look at a packaged for puppies, it has more proteins than carbohydrates. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you, Dan. Kindly let me tell you. Let me finish.
I want to put in here. Okay. If you look at all brands, I think all dog food brands. Let's put it at. If you are cooking, you can't really give percentage-wise. If you are cooking rice, you can't say I put rice at 70%. So let's take people who have done the math, done the statistics, done the research. Every kibble, the highest protein level I've seen in a dog kibble, I think the highest goes to 35. I think 35, 40. That's barely even the halfway mark. And most of it, if you have read completely, it's not even from animal protein.
From experience, there's a time I used to feed my puppies on kibbles alone. I've been watching so many breeders' feeding programs. And one thing I realized, even, you see, for the manufacturers, they won't put lots of meat because they have some profits to make. But from many different breeders, I've realized even those who depends mostly on kibbles, they still supplement their dog feeds with a lot of protein. And that's why they say, I feed my dogs on kibbles, but I also feed my dogs on raw meat. Actually raw meat, not even cooked meat, raw meat. And from experience, if you look at somebody who is feeding their dogs more on carbohydrates, their dogs might look very fatty because it's starch. But when it comes to their average height and body-wise, they are not okay. When I'm rehoming my dogs, I normally rehome my dogs at 3 months. I gave 2 different people, and I told them, they asked me, what do you feed your dogs? And I advised them, I like advising my people who I rehome dogs to. I told them, when this dog is growing, before it reaches the age of 1 year, it's good at least to have a lot of protein and less carbohydrates and vitamins. One person got challenges of getting meat, and they used to cook for the dogs porridge, ugali, if it's meat, once in a while omena. The other one followed my feeding regime. So when I met these 2 people, I met these 2 dogs. I'm telling you, Dan, for sure, there was no, actually you could say they are not litter mates.
The whole point here, Babu, is that carnivorous animals eat meat alone.
Yes.
Dogs do not eat meat.
Yeah, that was the
And
point
also,
we're emphasizing.
that is the point we're emphasizing, that dogs do eat watermelons. Give your dogs watermelons.
Yeah, lots of fruits.
Yes, lots of dogs do need
Except
vegetables.
pineapples.
No, you need to do your research. Which fruit which fruit is good for my dog and which fruit is bad for my dog.
My dog eats bananas.
So dogs do eat pumpkins. Give your dogs pumpkins. So, but the point is finding the balance. And what you said is important, that at a particular stage, even for human beings, like when you start weaning a kid, you're told, give your kids proteins, fish, meat, balance, the beans, balance. But also for humans, as you grow older, you start laying off the proteins, pole. And also as human, if you give me a full chicken, and I love chicken, I will eat that chicken. The same thing goes with these dogs. We are omnivorous. If you feed it on meat alone, it will eat, no problem. But as it grows, if it doesn't need that, then you're giving it in excess, then what happens? It starts becoming poisonous to its body. So I think that balance, and that's why we need somebody who has more experience and a profession who can clearly tell us, like, if there is a balance, this is the balance.
Yeah. So for us, as we are sharing, it's more of experience with our producer, his experience with Dan, my experience. So I have an experience similar to our producers. Back in 2020, was it 2019 or 2020, one of Tabitha's later, I just went full board on excessive chicken. I was giving my puppies, I was literally cooking rice, and I was taking raw chicken, minced chicken, and I will take the minced chicken and put it in a plate and mix the rice and the cooked, the rice and the raw chicken. It was literally a pokatikati. Up to date, I have never had such large puppies. I've interacted with those clients of mine who sold those puppies. They're the big dogs right now. One of them is Ali in Gong. The other one is Max in Westland somewhere. They are big. They are bigger than the father. And it all started with the foundation of nyama. It was nyama and rice. And I focused on doing the raw. So I have repeated it with my Malinois. I have some Malinois. We'll probably throw in some few clips as we're talking right now. I'm going to share them with our producers. You can see the Malinois that are 3 months old and the muscle they are packing. You can see them when they were 5 weeks old and how big they were. I'm holding them this way. And I was doing minced meat breakfast and milk. I think I mixed minced meat and milk. And I was not doing kibble. I was doing rice, just a little bit of rice. And the minced meat was raw, and the milk was boiled, definitely. But the idea he was giving the puppies raw. And attesting to it, napigia kura, I'm vouching for that, is that they are different from the others that I've bred without the protein, raw protein.
Okay, I don't really differ from that. Okay, my point is, I'm really not against protein. Okay, because even for me, I propose, even for the clients who come and ask for my feeding schedule, I always say a minimum of around 70% of your dog's meal should be animal protein. Not plant-based protein, not animal protein. If you can get it fresh, even the better. Okay? I'm really not against that. And you find, and I can give you an explanation because of why you found really good results in such kind of puppies. You can, I think all of us can really give a testimony to the growth rate between 0 to around 6 months of age in a dogs, especially in large dogs. You can see changes in weight gain. If you take weights every week, you can see they even double depending on the size and the breed of the dog. Okay? And that's why you find for puppies, even if you go for every kibble puppy food, that's where you find the highest protein margins. It's because puppies really need lots and lots of protein and calcium. My issue is, and that's where, and I think Linda emphasized on it, and I think you skimmed over balance. Okay, I have no issue with giving raw, but the thing is, you need to identify the right balance, okay? Because I also don't really propose giving a diet on a dog on a full kibble diet. I really don't think it's really good for their system. I think they really need good fresh food, but I also found cases of where excess protein has caused damage to the kidneys in adult dogs. That's why I'm saying a dog should not be kept on a full meat by diet all their life. That's what I'm saying. Get the right balance. Because even, and Babu, I think, mentioned wolves in the wild actually eat only meat, which is actually wrong. Do you know the wolves have been known to actually, once they kill let's say a prey, they actually been known to actually tear up the stomach and actually nibble on some of the remains in the intestines to actually supplement some of the things that they are missing from their bodies. Yeah, and so you find, like, you may think, and also I think we need to understand, wolves have not really been domesticated over time. They have not been domesticated, so their system is really unchanged. But for the dogs, the system has really changed to actually suit what we have as food. So we can't really compare the two. So I think I'll stick to my point. Yes, I am for animal proteins and really high animal proteins in dogs. But let's really find the right balance, because we find you may be giving the dog because it seems really flashy, and but we need to understand what is fancy for us doesn't really meet the nutritional needs of these dogs. You may go for the most high quality food and say I'm buying kibble at 10K, but doesn't really mean you're giving the highest quality. Yeah.
We are a developing country. We are going to fact. We are going to developing. Yeah, soon to be superpower. Dog superpower. So it all comes down to finances. Minasema hivyo. That guy who's going to that extra mile goes and buys the waste from the butchery, which is 200 bob or 100 bob. Maybe that's what he can afford. And he's trying his very best. But you might find that Kinyita is quite big. Yeah. So it works for them. Even the Githeri, someone who feeds his dog on home-based waste food. He's a well-off guy. The food that remains, he eats. He says, whatever I eat that's safe for me is safe for the dogs. So he puts it together in the refrigerator, and he has bones that are boiled, and then they make a mix, and the dogs are very healthy. The dogs are big, so he doesn't have wastes. So he's considered there's ugali, there's kuma, there's kale, there's cabbage, there's broccoli, whatever is there, and then he does the soup thing. It's just a matter of how he's able to feed his dog. Yeah, so considering that the dog is not just on githeri and water, so he's gone for the bones. He's gone for the bones, and he's going to give his dog calcium and a bit of meat broth. That helps.
Just to give it away. Mm-hmm. Let me add on, because I think he has mentioned it. I think it's also important, because I think I explain this to my clients when they come pick their dogs. It's really important for you not to follow my feeding schedule, but really find what works for you with because I say when it comes to feeding, you need to I mostly check for three things: quality, availability, and consistency. If you can be able to manage a meal within such kind of so I think you'll be good. But I don't think it's really that expensive to feed your dog. You can manage it and still maintain the quality. Yeah.
Also, I wanted to say that most of the time the way you've said, people go collect, most of the time it's not about finances. It's about information. Information. You don't know that leftovers are not good for your dog, but because it's what you grew up seeing, tulipatia madogi zetu mabakisho, and then they were okay. So even when you get a good dog and you're thinking, when you're doing that, you're thinking I am really taking good care of my dog. It is not because of the finances. Maybe 80% it's lack of information. Because I remember us, we used to have more than 5 dogs, these local Kinyita dogs. And our dad had an agreement with the soup guy. Vichwa, migu, you know, the leg, the what do you call them in English? The legs of cows, the hoofs. Once they are boiled, they are done over. These are things that people eat, right? But at what cost? 10 bob, 20 bob. So we get to take it to our dogs. When you walk around the streets, you'll find chicken necks and legs being sold for people to eat. But at what cost? 10, 20. But people are not buying these for their dogs, but you will see somebody going to buy. Do you know, even at the butchery, when they are going, even if this eats meat out, they have to pay for them to be packaged for those leftovers, and they have to give something. It is not free for most of them. So you see the money they are spending to buy off those leftovers, thinking they are doing something nice for their dog, was money that could have been spent going over looking for actually good meat that could have fed their dogs. But it's more of information and knowledge rather than, let's say, expenses.
Finances also matters. It's not the determining factor, but it also matters because I'd advise people. I've seen young people who get excited when they see you with a very huge dog, let's say a Caucasian Shepherd, a Bobel, and now they get excited and they are, wow, I need a puppy. Little do they know that the way you feed your Japanese Spitz is different from the way you will feed a Caucasian Shepherd. So I think people need to understand that when you are going to get a puppy, ask yourself, am I financially able to feed this dog? If I'm not, and I love dogs, what kind of a dog do I need? You don't have, even if your dream dog is a Caucasian Shepherd, a Boer, the large breeds, you can start small. You can go get a small dog like a Jack Russell. You can get a Japanese Spitz. You can get a Chihuahua if you can afford, though they are not cheap. Just go get something that you'll be able to manage. And also, there are other people, as Linda has said, they are financially able, but because they don't have information on the feeding regimes, they just think that you feed your dog anything. Maybe from what we used to do back in the when we were growing up, when there was no much information about these things. We didn't have internet that we see how other people feed dogs. Now I've come to get these breeds that I think they are cool, and I think I still want to feed them the way I used to feed them. Little do I know that there are so many complications that comes with, and the complication I'm saying, just go get a puppy from a person who was feeding it well, and you start giving it anything, or you leave it outside to feed on itself. It will get diseases like parvovirus. So I'd advise people, if you want to get a dog, first of all, ask yourself, am I able financially? Is my time, do I have time for the dog? Because every dog have different needs. Some dogs, as I was sharing today I didn't sleep, let me tell you. This is also challenges. Today I slept very bad because I didn't have enough sleep, because some dogs don't. I locked a dog that doesn't like being locked. So it kept on howling all night, and I had to go to the kennel midnight and let it loose, because all these dogs are different. So know the breed you are going to get. If you are financially able, get your dream dog. If you are not, start small. Yes.
Yeah, and by the way, this is a question to you and our viewers. Is it really logic if I have to buy a puppy for 200K and I can't afford to feed it properly? Is it logic if I have to go buy a puppy for 100K if I can't?
Let me answer you. I don't think there's anybody who will be able to buy a puppy at 200K and you are not able to feed it. Because let me just explain. Because if you can afford to save 200K, be also ready to save some good amount of money to feed your dog. Because I know there are times when you get a very nice dog, maybe by then you are financially able, but as time goes by, some lose their jobs. So what you need to do as a person who loves the child, I've seen people who have adopted their children, not really like giving their children out, but you adopt you give it, you let somebody else who is able to take care of your child take care of them. Because same way, you might buy a dog at even $1 million, but if you lose your job and you are not able to take care of the dogs, I think it's only human that you can get a friend. Like today, if I'm unable to feed my dogs, I have friends, and that's why networking is good. I can go to Dan or Dan. Why go Dan B? I can go to them and tell them I'm not. Okay, Dan A, Dan B. Okay, so as I was saying, if I'm unable to take care of the dog because maybe I've lost my job, I think it's good to have networks. I'll just go to a fellow breeder or somebody whom I know love dogs and they are financially able. I let them adopt the dog. We can have a small arrangement. Maybe later I can get the dog and compensate on his feeding, or even I can let him keep the dog, and later in life when I'm able, again I can get a dog.
Okay, the reason I differ a bit, because I've come across a different kind of scenario, because there's a new, I won't say a crop of clients or buyers that are coming in, where you find dogs are a status symbol. The industry has changed. People are buying dogs to say, I have a German Shepherd at home. I have a Husky. I have a this and this kind of breed. So you find people are not buying to really because they really need the dog or they really know much about the dog, but they're just buying to say, I have this. I don't have the local dogs with me. So you find most people are buying these dogs at really expensive costs, but they really don't have any interest on, because you sell a dog to a client and you follow up. You're like, okay, how's the dog doing? Do you send me some pictures? And the guy is like, okay, I haven't seen it in months. Let me tell the worker to send some few photos on WhatsApp. And you're like, okay, you bought this dog at really this cost. You haven't seen this dog in months. How do you expect the dog to bond with you? You say the dog is for kids, so you expect, as long as food is there, the kids. So it's not really a matter of, and that's why I come and say cost really doesn't. I think information, as Linda put it, really matters. Because most people come in and they buy a dog because they are like, okay, done. What's the best dog for me for security? I've just bought a farm. I've just moved into my new house, because those are the most clients who come and pick dogs. I've moved into a new house. I need a dog to boost my security. And I'm like, okay, but the impression they have is, I'm used to the dog we have been having in the village. I just give it the ugali. I just give it the gederi. That is what they're used to. And since they saw the other dogs thriving, they assume it's the same. Yeah? Because we get a lot of calls where someone is calling and like, okay, how come my dog is not, you just spotted a dog, is this a new litter? You're like, no, this is the same litter you bought, that your dog you just bought your puppy from. And it's like, why is mine not the same kind of size? And you're like, what are you feeding? And you find really funny answers. So I like to say, I think also attitude and information comes in, because there are new people. The industry is growing, and new people are getting exposed to what the dog offers. I don't know if Dan has a different point of view, because he interacts at a better scale in the training, so he views homes and...
I'll say the same, just what you said.
Yeah.
Also, I think this is a point I want to put across, that guys, if you're watching us and you're seeing all these beautiful dogs, if you're walking out on the streets and you see all these beautiful dogs, they are beautiful because they are being well taken care of. There is a cost to maintaining that beautiful dog. Because my point, I want to imagine somebody buying a Caucasian Shepherd just because of the status. It's a big dog. First of all, you do not have the space. Second of all, you do not have the time. what does it do? This, yes, it's beautiful, it's massive. If you love big dogs, did you know how much that dog sheds? So if you do not have time to groom it like all the time, you will have fur all over your compound. Like the moment you leave your house, you will look like your own compound. If you have a small compound, I don't, guests will be coming, and if they are anywhere near allergic to fur, they will not tolerate it. So there are things that we have to get information about. Do not get a dog because of status. Like for me, a lot of people ask me like, Linda, where is your dog? Honestly, I do not have a dog. Why? I live in an apartment. Yes. I do not like fur. For now, yes, because it's me playing with it and I go home. But in my house, I do not want fur. So I'm more of a get a compound dog than an in-house dog. Yes, let's go play outside, and then me, my space, I want my space very spot clean. You know, I do not have. No, not you. There are people. No, there are people, once they walk out of their house, you know they have dogs.
You smell dogs.
No, it's not smelling. Actually, the way we are seated here, you wouldn't think like, no. Actually, you wouldn't know.
How do you know we have dogs?
No, because of fur. You will know when I enter your car.
And the fur has never left. It never finishes.
And also with the fur, it's also because people do not know how to maintain these dogs. And one of the instances I had, I said like, I do not ever want to have these white dogs in my house. I've gone. A neighbor has a dog. We wash clothes. You hang out your clothes outside. It is not your dog. You're folding your laundry and you're wondering, what is happening? Far. So, but do you know there are people who can have even 2 dogs in that house, but you don't know. Because most probably they have space, they have the time to groom the dog, they are taking all the deworming, especially deworming. People deworm your dogs. Because some of these of excessive shedding, it's because you're not taking proper care of your dog. So you just want to have that dog you're cuddling with. And the moment you leave the house with the jacket you are cuddling the dog with, you're full of fur. And you're giving dog people a bad name. And even cat people. You're giving... we are giving pet lovers... We are giving pet lovers a bad name. So we have to maintain, like, if I'm sitting here, there's no fire everywhere. There's no smell of dogs because the environment is nice. So you have to consider all... Look at Dan being happy. You have to consider all these things. So guys, as we wrap up, there's a very important thing when it comes to pet ownerships. And now because we are in the dog world, let's talk mentally what's the importance of having dogs. Out of your experience, have dogs helped you in any way?
Yeah, I say they make me feel good. Make me feel good. So I'll say the mental health, the way I think when I'm around dogs is different when I'm around people. I don't hate people. People are good, but dogs are easy. My dog will always greet me like I've just left and gone to the toilet, maybe come back, she's jumping. She's just happy to see me. So there's a sense of true love. Let me say that, true love. It's a feeling that you can't replace or copy with any other thing. So me, I'd say your dog will give you a good moment. Just sitting with your dog, going for a walk with your dog. Maybe you've had a long day, an argument with whoever, your better half, or you just go for a walk with your dog. I used to do that a lot with my Tabitha. We used to walk. I take her for swims, come back, everyone is tired and excited. She's done something weird. I'm laughing. She's probably tried to catch a fish. I don't know, chase a duck, just do something, and I'd come back and I'd feel good. So the dogs give me personally a good feeling to it. Just the fact that I have my dogs, and I do look forward to going home and not even taking them for walks, just walking around playing fetch. Yes, I just feel good being around my dogs. So they are good for my mind and my relaxation.
Sa hii part unatoa, si ndio? Okay, for me, dogs really give me a calming effect. I tend to overthink a lot, and I think dogs are really very great body language readers. Yeah, they can really sense when things are not okay, your kind of mood, and kind of readjust and behave differently towards how you behave. So for me, they really calm me down, which is a really great thing. So I really love spending time with them because they give me the sense of everything slows down, everything comes back to pace. So for me, I'll say the calming effect, that's the greatest mental thing I get from dogs. Yeah, okay.
As a person who grew up with dogs like all my childhood, it is not just the mental effects of a dog. It's not just for grown-ups, it's even for kids. Personally, I remember I used to get home from school and first thing, run to the kennel, set the dog free, run around, play with it, forget all the chores that I've been but the whole point of being playful, now you're coming from home, there's stress from school, but you reach home, your body is waiting for you and you're playing there with it. You can't wait for the weekends to come so that you can clean for it, clean the kennels, wash the dogs. So even that time to be out there being naughty, I was still naughty, but with dogs in my life, it had been taken a little bit low. And even if, people assume like children, you do not think. For me, dogs played a huge role in balancing my mental balance when I was a child. Being there, being active with the dogs, and also turning me into a responsible mother. I say dogs are like babies. Clean them, wash them, cook for them, clean their poops, clean up after them. Now I have 3 babies. I can balance 3 babies because as a child I could balance 5 dogs.
I think for me, dogs have done a lot for me. I used to be an introvert, but when I realized that I need to be a social being, human beings are supposed to be social beings, I think my life opened up, and I can say dogs have helped me also be able to socialize with people, because there are times I remember when I get challenges or I get maybe I'm stressed, something is bothering me, I come out even at night, go sit with the dogs. There are times I used to talk to my dogs, and I've realized, and why I love Rottweilers, I have one Rottweiler, the old one, which is around 8 years. It used to look at me, and I used to think that the dog is actually understanding what I'm telling it. And when I go back to sleep, I used to feel very good. Even to date, there are times I just walk out. If I'm stressed, I get 1-2 dogs. I take a very long walk. And when I'm coming back, I feel very good. And as I go, as we are taking a walk, I try and interact with my dogs. I try throw some stuff, runs, and I feel good. I think even just looking, there are times I even lock myself in the house and open all the dogs in the compound, and I just watch them like yesterday. I was just looking at the dogs. I have a very big barbell, which it makes me happy. That dog is heavy, but when you see it jumping I just feel good. I think there's that. I feel mentally it has helped me. It has also helped me to be a responsible person. Personally, I'm one person who's very. I'm here, I'm there. I like doing. I'm very active. So sometimes when you become overactive, you are not very thorough. But now since I started keeping dogs, I realized that I had to be very, very, very thorough, especially when I'm cleaning their kennels. I make sure that I do it right, and I make sure that out of the challenges I got from maybe dogs getting sick, nowadays I feel I really enjoy, and even when I'm feeding them, I feel good, and I'm a volunteer elsewhere, and I think being a volunteer has also helped me. The keeping dogs have also helped me to understand that it's good to do good things to people who don't expect anything in return. So I can just say dogs have helped me to become a better person, a better human being, and a better God's child. Yeah.
This has been quite a beautiful session. We've talked, we've laughed, but we are coming to an end of this session, and as we come to an end of it, I want my co-hosts here to give us some advice and parting shots, and also they can tell us where can we reach them, starting with our host.
Thank you so much, Linda. I think the best thing I can say and give advice to new people coming into the industry is believe in yourself. It's one of the few things that cannot be outsourced. So be decisive in what you want to do, understand what you want to do, and go for it. Yeah. For finding us, our socials, you can find us on Facebook on DOUG Kennels. Where from DOUG Kennels you can find our contacts. I think what I can leave you with, there was a lecturer who used to start with this phrase as we began our lessons. He used to say, choose your suffering or your suffering will choose you. So you can determine what you need to work on. Understand you can either bear the pain of right now and benefit later, or have it your way at this time and suffer at a later time. Okay, Ken.
Now, for my parting shot, do research, and I'll just scale it down to watch Dog TV. You get everything you want from Kenya, Uganda, region-wide, anything and everyone. Maybe your neighbor is breeding dogs, and you never know because you don't watch Dog TV. Yeah, subscribe and like and comment and share, because that's where you can find me. I don't have a YouTube account. I'm using my friend's Dog TV account, and I thank you, Mr. Producer, for giving me that chance. And something else that I would advise, or my parting shot, is the memory that you will have with your dog will live with you forever. I have old people who I meet up with. I'm walking with a dog, I'm training a dog, and they're like, I've just remembered we had a Scooby, a Jack Russell when I was a kid. So you can see the excitement and the happiness. Yes, that cannot be priced or put on a bay flan. You cannot price that with anything. It's a forever moment, a memory you'll have. So cherish them, enjoy them. They don't live that long, 10 years, 12 years. But enjoy them, take care of them, love them. So when you get those memories, you're like, I did my best for my dog. Yes, and my name's Daniel Redhill Kennels. My numbers are 0716 +254 0716 +254 716 658 658. And thanks for watching. And I'll be seeing you next time.
Kama kawaida, before you get that dog, kindly ask yourself, what is the purpose? Why do you want to get that dog? Why that specific breed? If you want to get a German Shepherd and you visit a kennel that has German Shepherd, Rottweilers, Doberman, Jack Russells, Chihuahuas, Pugs, please, if your first dog was a German Shepherd, that's what made you go to that kennel. Kindly, when you visit that kennel and you see a Rottweiler is beautiful, don't change your mind. Because if you change your mind, you will get a dog that you are not prepared to have. You will not have known the temperaments of a Rottweiler. And I'll tell you for sure, some dogs are not easy for a first-time dog owner. So do your research, know your purpose, know why you are getting that dog. And as usual, you can see we are still growing. We are starting a new thing. And I, as a producer, I'm praying that you guys keep subscribing, commenting. Thank you, Eric Kiva. All the time, number one fan. We appreciate you, and continue watching, continue sharing, continue subscribing. And I'm also a director at Natned Digital Studios. Our social medias are Instagram, Natned_digital_studios, Facebook, Natned Digital Studios. And also, we also do events and films. And I'll leave you with this, that somebody joked, one of our friends, the networks that we have for dog breeders told us, I saw him upload an article and it was saying, when you get to heaven and your dog is the one which is going to determine whether you are going to heaven or going to hell, ask yourself, what will the dog say about you? I know mine will say, I know there is a day you left me for long, but because now you are here, let's get to heaven together. Thank you.
I want to echo Dan Waigua's parting shot that the memories that you'll make with your dog, they will last with you forever. I don't know what my memory childhoods would be without the memories of my dogs and the time I spent with them, taking care of them. And every time I see a dog, I'm reminded of that dog. And they are good memories. But I can't wait for my children to be of age where now they can be able to take care of dogs. Actually, I'm one of those people who say, yeah, if I get a dog, there are people who have to take care of them. Because I know what it did for me. And still, they are also at that point where they are also, when they see the dogs, when they see me on dog TV, when they see me with pictures, they are excited, they want. And then I have to keep telling them, who is washing you? Are you washing yourself yet? Yeah, no. So if I bring a dog home, who will wash the dog? So we have that discussion with kids. So even as parents, and I will use general pets, it doesn't matter what your favorite animal is or what kind of an animal that your child tells you, Mom, I want a pet. Consider that, because it has its benefits to your children. So other than just you, and this is a testimony, because out there I meet a lot of parents who tell me like, no, I actually never used to like dogs, but my child told me to get them a pet. And you know, if you get your child a pet, then you're the one who's taking care of the pet. You also get to grow and learn about the dogs when you get them. So go ahead, give your kids that pet that they need. And that is my parting shot. And before you also do that, do your research, because also I've had cases where you get a dog for your kid, you go train the dog for aggression, then your child cannot handle the dog, and now you're in a quagmire. What do you do with the dog? You can't deal with the dog, the child cannot deal with the dog, and your trainer is nowhere near. So these are things that you need to consider, and that's why we are here. As Dan Wego has said, watch Dog TV Kenya to learn more about dog. Comment, subscribe, and if you have any questions that you would want us to tackle, you can send them as emails or as comments. If you like this setup where we talk more about dogs, kindly let us know and leave the topics that you want us to deal with next time that we do this setup. Okay? Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with us till the end. Kama kawaida, I'm your girl Linda Kinyita, and at least today you've met the guy behind the camera. So thank you for watching us, and this is Dog TV Kenya, the best documentary channel for all dog lovers. Until the next one, see you.
Bye. Bye.